The American Royal made its debut in 1899 under a large tent in the Kansas City stockyards. KC's early reputation as a cow town was well earned, with over 6 million head of livestock a year passing through the city at its peak. Although the stockyards are now gone, the American Royal is still growing strong today, drawing over 250,000 attendees to its multiple events. These include a livestock and horse show, rodeo, and its most popular event, the biggest, wildest barbecue contest you've ever seen. Built in 1914, Kansas City's Union Station became the country's second largest railroad terminal, encompassing 850,000 square feet. Its Grand Hall is 95 feet high with 3 chandeliers, each weighing 3,500 pounds. Over the years, it's been the scene of many memorable events, including the Kansas City Massacre, where captured fugitive Frank Nash was gunned down in a failed escape. As cross-country rail travel began to fade, so did this stately building. But after years of neglect, Union Station was meticulously renovated to its original splendor in 1999. Today, it is home to a planetarium, restaurants, shops, theaters, museums, traveling exhibits, and Science City. Kansas City's earliest fountains were designed by the Humane Society to provide water for horses and pets. Today, they are considered works of art and can be found throughout the metropolitan area, earning KC the nickname City of Fountains. You can see them while strolling the plaza, along KC's many boulevards, in parks, at museums, the baseball stadium, and many of the city's public spaces. Dedicated in 1921 before a crowd of 200,000, the Liberty Memorial was the first national monument symbolizing America's and the world's sacrifices in World War I. It began with a community-based fund drive in 1919, which generated over $2.5 million in less than 2 weeks. This was a staggering accomplishment, which reflected Kansas City's public opinion for those it would represent and honor. Today, it is home to the National World War I Museum, where new generations of Americans can relive the history of the Great War while experiencing one of the largest collections of artifacts anywhere in the world. The Kansas City Monarchs were the longest-running franchise in Negro League history, winning more than a dozen league championships. A charter member of the Negro National League, they sent the most players into Major League Baseball after the color barrier was broken. Giants of the game including Jackie Robinson, Satchel Paige, Ernie Banks, and Elston Howard all wore Monarchs uniforms. Kansas City's proud role in baseball history can be experienced at the Negro League Baseball Museum in the historic 18th and Vine District, where many Monarchs team and league artifacts are on display. Known as the Paris of the Plains in the 1920s and 30s, Kansas City was one of the most dynamic jazz centers in America, with a hub of activity at 18th and Vine. Exciting and unrestricted, it was a magnet for artists and musicians such as Count Basie, Big Joe Turner, and KC native Charlie Parker, who would usher in the bebop style in the 1940s. It's been said while New Orleans was the birthplace of jazz, it grew up in Kansas City. In its heyday, KC had over 400 nightclubs, cabarets, burlesque houses, and dance halls, raising its jazz heritage to iconic status. Today, you can still experience the sounds of live jazz in the 18th and Vine District, which is also home to the American Jazz Museum. It was 1908 when Henry Perry began selling smoked beef, possum, and raccoon from an alley stand in Kansas City's Garment District. Considered the father of KC barbecue, his customers would pay 25 cents for hot hickory smoked meats and a peppery sauce wrapped in newsprint. As business grew, he moved the operation to an old railroad car near the famous corner of 18th and Vine. Upon his death, the business was sold to Arthur Bryant. Arthur Bryant is world-renowned and continues to serve Kansas City-style barbecue to hungry patrons, from U.S. presidents to local regulars. Opened in 1923, the Country Club Plaza was the first shopping center in the world designed for people arriving by automobile. Modeled architecturally after Seville, Spain, the 55-acre site comprises high-end retail, restaurant, and entertainment venues. Sophistication and fun blend seamlessly as you window shop at Tiffany's, take a stroll along picturesque Brush Creek, then end the evening with a mouthwatering KC strip at the Plaza 3. Thanksgiving evening marks one of Kansas City's fondest traditions, the Plaza Lights. Over 80 miles of strung lights are ceremoniously lit as 100,000 people jam the plaza's streets and rooftops to ring in the holiday season. Prior to the official founding of Kansas City, the area near the confluence of the Kansas and Missouri rivers was known as Westport, an outfitting center for covered wagons heading west on the Oregon, California, and Santa Fe trails. Located just south of downtown, it boasts the oldest building still standing in the city, now home to Kelly's Westport Inn, a thirst-quenching mainstay since 1947. Today, the Westport neighborhood is known for trendy restaurants and shops, live music, and bustling nightlife. True to its roots, Westport serves up a wide array of shopping, dining, and late-night entertainment with a raw and adventurous pulse.